Hey, so recently I'm at an event and I'm asked to speak on stage. And so just so you can imagine, I've got a room full of people and an audience, and I'm there to speak at a specific event. I'm asked to deliver a specific message to this group, and I get up on stage and I actually do like the biggest sin you can make in speaking. Imagine like a stand-up comic coming into a location and talking about the wrong city they're in. I literally called the event the wrong event. And I made a huge mistake on stage. Now, here's the value, which I'll share with you in just a second, but there's a value to being an experienced business owner or an experienced business person or just an experienced person in general that helped me overcome this, and I'll share that with you in just a second. So let me share with you, this can help you as an experienced business person. Let me share with you what I did when I made this big, huge mistake on stage. Probably if I was inexperienced in business or I'm just starting, I would be totally embarrassed by this mistake. First of all, laughed at myself on stage. I joked about it, called out the elephant in the room that I called it the wrong event. I joked and I said, oh, muscle memory, because I always call this other event. And I just played it off and I kept going. If you're in your 40s and you're starting a brand new business, I'm gonna give you some insights on how to be successful so you don't make mistakes, and if you do, how to deal with them, right? Because probably if I was 20 years old and on stage and I made that mistake, I probably would have been embarrassed, humiliated, left the stage, walked off. But because I've been experienced now and I'm a little more confident in myself and my skills, which you are as well in your 40s when you're starting a business, those mistakes kind of roll off and you just let them go. So let me share with you a couple tips to be successful in starting your business in your 40s. Number one, mindset. It's the mindset of experience. It's the mindset of reinvention. You have to understand that many of us in our 40s, when we're starting a business, it can feel like, man, I've got to start over, or I'm completely taking a right turn, and that's okay. In fact, that's not wrong, and in many cases, that's brave. It's brave to do that. It's brave to step back from where you are and say, you know, it's time to reinvent myself. It's time to do something different. It's time to look at the skill sets that I have. It's time to take advantage of new opportunities and to go start my own business. And it's that mindset of, it's something we say around here all the time. We believe in reinvention. I mean, imagine if you're like a business and you're like the Blockbuster of business, or your life is like Blockbuster and you never change and you never grow and you never reinvent. And all of a sudden Netflix comes along and wipes you out. It was because Netflix was young, but they pivoted and they changed. Had Blockbuster done that and learned from those things, because that's all Netflix did, is they just learned from Blockbuster. They learned and watched those things. Even though they were a new business, they had the experience to come in and make those changes. You need to reinvent yourself as well, and it's okay to do that. So the first thing is mindset, and don't get hung up on that. Number two is experience. See, so many people who start their business in their 40s, they have conversations like this. They say, I'm not a business person. I've never opened a business. I've never started a business. And in fact, let me give you an example. Let's say you are getting into business and you wanted to start a real estate business. See, that's what I did in my early 20s. But here's the problem. When I would go talk to potential clients, they would say, well, how many houses have you ever bought or sold? Because I was young. I was in my early 20s. In fact, the very first people I ever met with, I remember sitting across the table from them talking about being an expert in real estate. And they're like, well, how many homes have you ever bought and sold? And I hadn't. My wife and I we'd just been married and we're renting a townhome. And so I have no experience, yet I have book smarts, right? So if you got into business right now, think about it this way. If you got into business and you're up against me as this early 20-year-old and you're in your 40s, whether you've sold as a licensed real estate professional or not sold many homes, you still have experience if you've bought and sold your own properties over me as a brand new licensed agent in my 20s. See, you have life experience, which is so valuable bringing into business. What the mindset is so many of us get hung up in our 40s to say, again, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, I'm not experienced, I don't have much experience in sales, or I've never sold a product. You have experience, and I want you to go back and look at the experience you have, and that's what you're gonna position yourself in a place of confidence to do. So one is mindset, two is experience. And number three is a really big one, and that is because you and I are in our 40s and we're starting a business, over that time we've built relationships in a network. So if I had that advantage over a 20-year-old starting business, it's because I have built a relationship. I've come in and I've built all these relationships around me to help now go out and start my new business. If I was starting over right now today, I have the mindset, I have the experience, I would reach out to my network of friends and I would immediately notify them of my new product or service that I was offering. I would let them know that I'm in business. And yeah, again, that's mindset. I would share with them exactly what they could do to benefit from my product, invite them and share with them how to take advantage of that. I would not be a secret agent. I would not be in hiding and not want to tell everyone about what I'm doing. I would want to get out there and leverage my network. And the fourth thing I would say as a business owner to help you succeed in your 40s is you have to embrace technology. It's just the way that things are going. And if you don't embrace technology, then you need to hire people or surround yourself with people who will embrace the technology for you, right? Like I resisted for the longest time some of these videos. I resisted for the longest time TikTok and Instagram and some of these things that I felt like, well, is it really valuable? But as I saw my customer base and the potential people I want to do business with living on those platforms and their eyeballs on those platforms, I realized that it was important for me to do that. Now, I don't need to understand every aspect of the platform. I just need to know how to produce content for that platform to leverage that technology. So if you come into business in your 40s with the right mindset that you can compete, you can win, you can reinvent yourself. The interesting thing, just as a side note to this, that just dawned on me as well, is that most people, when you meet them, they don't know your background. Like, they don't know whether you just started, unless you tell them, which you don't have to. Again, going back to when I was in my early 20s, that was what I had to compete with, was I didn't have the experience like you have. So when people would say, well, how many homes have you sold? And I would say, every home I put on the market, I sold. Well, the reality is I hadn't sold any. I hadn't put any on the market, right? But I didn't want to come out and say, hey, I'm brand new, you're my first client. That wasn't a vote of confidence for them, and them to, say, oh yeah, we want to have you market and sell our home. So you have the right mindset to reinvent. You have experience. You have experience as a consumer, as a customer. You have a lot of experience to bring to the table. You have a lot of skill sets. And most people in their 40s have developed a sense of worth and confidence that they can bring to the table in their new business. Then you're going to leverage your network. And when you leverage that network, you cannot be in hiding. You cannot be in secret. You've got to get out there and spread the word to them as fast as you can, because they're very leveraged in network. And the last one is you got to leverage technology. You got to embrace it. You got to understand it. Social media, customer management databases, all of those technology pieces that will help you streamline and produce business at a really high level. If you follow these 4 things, by the way, if this was helpful and you know of somebody who's starting a business in their 40s, please share this video, send it to them. Continue to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, where we share tips on how to grow your business and how to start a business in your 40s. The thing that I know is that so many people right now in the economy are struggling, and maybe they've been laid off, or mandates have put them out of business, or mandates have caused them to make a new change or a shift. They're like, what do I do? I got to reinvent. And that is okay. We believe in that reinvention. I believe you can do it. If you follow these 4 tips, you'll be successful in starting your business in your 40s.